I actually conquered a bit of a personal mountain yesterday. And let me give you a little history on this. I don't know if you knew that I have like an extraordinary phobia of needles. Like it's bad. It's so bad. Like yesterday, here was my mountain. I conquered this mountain of not passing out when having blood drawn for the first time in 16 years.
16 years.
Every other time that I have come in contact or close contact with a needle, I have gone out.
Okay.
Out.
All right. So what happened? You had some blood drawn.
I did. But let me give you a little history back to like, it started when I was 15, and Justin and I actually think we went to do sports physicals before football, and then had to get like catch up on a couple immunizations. Like mine was tetanus. So I caught up, I had to get my tetanus shot, and go into the doctor's office. Prior to that, I always thought getting shots was kind of fun. Never bothered me ever. But I sit down on the table and the doctor gives me this tetanus shot. No big deal. Get my sweet Scooby-Doo Band-Aid, no problem whatsoever. And then, dude, I stand up to go walk out of the office and I walk into the door frame.
Oh, man.
I black out, fall to the ground, and then, like, next thing I know, I come to and, I'm, like, laid back and with a cold towel, on my head and on my neck. And they're like, oh, my gosh, what happened? I'm like, I don't know. It just, whatever. I passed out, blacked out. That was weird. From that point on, every time I've had to get a shot or blood drawn or anything, I've gone out. And the most insane one is when our oldest daughter was born.
Oh, man.
All right. So Ashley got an epidural, and
that's not a little needle either.
Dude, this is insane. And now, I mean, it is funny because I know it's pitiful. It's totally pitiful, dude, that I'm this way, but I can't help it. So we actually told the medical staff, like, just when you do the epidural, make sure that I am not observing it, And Ashley, even like in like labor and severe pain, told them this because she knew that it was going to be a problem. Oh yeah, for sure, dude. Even in that like crazy instance, she remembered. She told them that. So what they did was they took me around and sat me beside the bed, put me in a chair, and Ashley's facing me with her legs off the bed, and I'm turned around essentially facing like this camera, so we're looking at each other. And they said, this won't be a problem because you won't see anything. You'll be sitting in front of her, and everything that's going on will be behind
you. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, sounds good. Anesthesiologist comes in, and dude, I never saw anything. I heard the package open, and I don't know if my brain was like, my goodness, that was a long tear. Like, hell. That thing was separating for forever. My mind started picturing what was getting ready to happen, and it was very vivid and letting me know what was about to go down. And I immediately got so hot and sweaty. There was like a sweat ring around my neck that showed up out of nowhere. I get real nauseous, real lightheaded, and I pass out and fall forward into Ashley's lap. And her water had just broken about a couple minutes before that. So I passed out and got a face full of amniotic fluid. And then, like they're putting in the epidural, and all of a sudden here comes this entire other medical team in here to help to take care of me. They pull me into the closet. They sit me on my butt in the closet and start feeding me like orange juice and crackers. Just like trying to get me, I guess, my blood sugar back up and revived and everything. So that happened. And then and every time, dude, it's something like this. Like 6 months ago, I went to do my doctor's appointment. I was getting established with a new doctor, and he, wanted to do some blood work. So we did that. And my baby sister works for this doctor, and she did my blood draw. And she did an incredible job. Like, I literally, like, I couldn't feel what she was doing. She had to do like 8 vials or something like this.
Which sister was this?
Melody.
All right, I know how I need to go to next time.
Yeah.
I don't like needles either, but I haven't passed out.
Okay, yeah, well, you're just a little more of a man than I am, dude.
Doubtful.
She did so good, but the tourniquet started making me feel, I guess, claustrophobic or something like that. And so, like, literally, I'm, and this was my little sister being a stud too. Like, we get to like vial 5 or something like that, and I'm looking away, and I have my eyes closed, and I'm just trying to ignore it and not pay attention, but my mind is now starting to race and think about what's going on and all this. And so we get to like, I think vial 5, and I'm like, I think we need to stop. I think we need to stop. I'm going. And same thing, big sweat ring, super nauseous, and I am on the way out of consciousness. And she goes, okay, all right, I'll stop. And so I'm sitting here thinking about all the relief that I'm going to have. Well, as a good little sister, she didn't stop. She just kept drawing vials because she had to have like a certain amount, And she was just like a little over halfway there. And she goes, okay, all right, okay, I'll stop. Didn't stop. She just went ahead and kept going.
She lied to you,
yeah,
bro.
dude. And then we get done, and I'm like, oh, God. Then she brings me juice and a snack, and I start getting revived, and I'm like, so I guess we're going to have to do this again. She goes, oh, no, I didn't stop. I went ahead and got all of them. I'm like, all right, that's good deal. Perfect. Thank you.
Shout out to her for not stopping.
Yeah, for sure. But then this time around, I saw Zach at Brandon's wedding, and obviously he's, well on his way to being a nurse anesthetist. And when I got to talking to him, and I just said, dude, hats off to you. Like, I salute you for doing what you're doing, because I am needle phobic. I couldn't handle what you do. I admire it, because that's literally, it's crazy that but like, respect to you, man. And he's like, that's crazy, huh? That's weird. He goes, how about this? He goes, next time you go get your blood drawn, he said, try this trick for me. He said, take a cup of mostly ice and a little bit of water, and when it's time to get your blood drawn, put your hand in the cup with the ice and the water. And he said, I think that your brain will focus on the cold over what's happening on your other arm. He's like, because once that hand gets cold, your body's going to start thinking, we're freezing to death. We're freezing to death. And that's where all your thoughts going to go, and your panic will end up being there. So I was like, all right, I'll try it. Well, yesterday was the mountain, dude. All right. I didn't sleep Thursday night because I was dreading 8 a.m. going and getting my blood drawn. And I knew it was going to be my little sister again, who does a killer job, does a wonderful job. Like, so it was, I knew that I was being weak. I was being a pansy, but I still couldn't overcome it. Like, I was dreading it, dude. I was sweating just laying in my bed like, oh, no. But I remembered the conversation with Zach. So took a Stanley full of ice and water, and I walk into the doctor's office holding my Stanley, and they're like, oh, cool, a Stanley. I'm like, yeah, this is my plan for staying with you, for staying conscious through this deal. So, unfortunately it was, my little sister, she's like, oh, I get it. This guy's a freaking pansy. Obviously he needs something. So laid back in the recliner, stuck my hand in this water, and dude, my hand was hurting so bad from being in this ice water.
How long do you think it was in the ice water?
4 or 5 minutes maybe.
So your hand took a 5-minute ice bath while you were getting your blood drawn.
That's exactly what my hand did, dude. Yeah, I think, yeah, that's kind of, me and Rogan are kind of similar, I did a hand ice bath. And dude, like, I don't know. I ought to ask my little sister, because I don't know how long it usually takes to draw blood. I don't know. You want to Google?
I can.
All right. Let's see how long it takes on average to draw I don't know, maybe anywhere from, I'd guess 4 to 8 vials, but I'm sure that most blood draws are pretty like the same across the board. You know, this is
That's not it.
a handful of weeks. That's what it felt like. A handful of weeks is, I don't think, quite accurate, but it felt. And dude, it might have been like nowhere close to less than 3 minutes.
Usually takes less than 3 minutes. So if you were in a 5-minute ice bath, like you were well above the time that you had to be in the ice bath. But at the same time, you had that accumulation period where, like, how long does it take before you actually notice that your hand's in the water? Does that make sense?
Yeah, where it's like it actually just it feels chilly for a second. But also, I was in pain. And tripping balls because of, so it might have felt like 5 minutes when in all reality, dude, it might have been 90 seconds. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I need to ask my sister how long she thinks that took. Because I want to say, like, walking out, once she got done, that it looked like she had, like, way less files on, like, this draw. Because this is, like, a follow-up, you know, to, like see the, you know, what kind of progress I've made or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the other one was, like, 8. And it looked like yesterday she had 4. So maybe it was, like, you know.
Your mind definitely could have been playing tricks on you there, though.
Dude, I definitely think my mind was playing tricks on me because, you know, I was like in pain and I guess scared. So, of course, that's going to feel like it's way longer than it actually is.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Sounds like you need to be taking a Stanley with you every time you go to the doctor's office.
Dude, I promise you I am absolutely taking a Stanley with me every time I go to the doctor. Like,
the next question is, did you drink out of that Stanley after your hand was in it for 5 minutes?
dude, so I did, but I washed it. I literally thought about that. I was like, I'm really thirsty.
I got to dump all this ice out.
Yeah, dude, that ice saved my life, man. I ran back by the house and I washed it out, and then I drank out of it because I was like, I'm not gonna switch to a different cup. I mean, I wash my hands all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it needs to run through the dishwasher before I could utilize it.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of rinse it out. New ice, new water.
Yeah.
Roll with it, dude.
You know, shout out to Zach. We're all good, man. Thanks.
For sure, dude. Yeah. Zach's going to come in and do the pod sometime, too.
Oh, man, get in here. It's the pod.
Yeah, get in here. It's the pod, dude. I'm excited for that. I love that you threw that reference out, too. That's awesome.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Konnichiwa, dude. Thanks, man.
I'm here for you, bro.
I know. You got me. Yeah, Zach, talking to him at Brandon's wedding again. I think it's third week of December is what we agreed on because he's got a little time off, you know? And so I also told him, I'm like, man, what you do scares me to death. So I'd love to talk to you about it, you know? So
yeah, I feel like he can make that topic very lighthearted, but also, you know, kind of, it might, at the same time, he knew what to do to calm your nerves. So
yeah, absolutely. He's obviously very intelligent, but then has lost none of the fun Zach Smith that we always used to know.
At the same time, he'll always be Zach.
Oh, for sure, man. Yeah, such a good time. We're gonna have him on at some point here in the next few weeks. Wanted to throw a shout out real quick to Marionville football team. This is a totally local reference for anybody that's non-local listening, but Marionville, I think they won like 59-0 against, I don't remember, whatever. I guess, are they class 1 or are they class 2?
I believe they're class 1.
Okay. So they're class 1, looks like North Platte.
29-0.
29-0. Okay. So
last night,
a complete boat race. That's awesome. Congratulations, Marionville, local team here. That's super, super cool. And then also congratulations to Republic. Very, very close proximity used to live in Republic, spent a lot of time working in Republic. Pretty cool with that. They got their, well, they competed, but they kind of wound up with their tail whooped a little bit, which I don't know. If I wish that there was a betting platform for high school sports or high school football anyway. And this is why I don't even think I would put money on it. 38-25 was the final score of Republic. They lost to Cardinal Ritter. All right, here's what I would love to see. Okay, and maybe I should be that, but some kind of gambling hub for high school football. All right, and this is why I've gotten so used to when I see a game, I want to see the line on it. Like when I watch Mizzou playing Arkansas, I wanted to see what the line was, and then I also want to see the final score compared to what the line was. I think Mizzou, when they played Arkansas last week, I want to say they were 12-point favorites, maybe even less than that. But they were favorites by, a touchdown plus, which is a pretty big margin. But they went in there and ended up winning by an astronomical amount. And then the first thing that I did after I knew 48-14. Woo-wee.
It was 20-0 at halftime in the third quarter. Mizzou drops 21. So at the end of the third quarter, it's 41-0.
That's
at the end of the third.
That is insane, dude. And I love it. I love it. Hey, can you find out what the line was on it? I'm kind of curious because I thought it was sub 15, but more than a touchdown. Yeah. I don't know. I know Arkansas was drastic dogs, but my point in all that was whenever we get into, when I see us after I watch a game, I see something. Missouri
by 9.
Okay, all right, Missouri. So I was wrong. It was actually even more of a drubbing and Missouri almost had the over by themselves.
By themselves, yeah. 54 points was the over.
That's crazy, man. So the line was 9, and was it 34 is what Mizzou ended up beating them by? Because obviously it's a tail whooping. Like, we know that.
Yeah, 48-14.
Okay. So this is why...
they were 9 point. 9 point.
That's insane, man. Advantage. That's... so my
Somebody got that wrong.
Oh, for sure, dude. My point in that is I was thinking about the Republic game last night, and I would love to have not even put money on it, but I would love to have seen a line on it, okay? And I'm sure that probably somewhere out there is probably some shady house where you could go put the little money down on that high school football game if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But I'd love to be able to look back and go, all right, oh, wow, I think Republic would have been dogs by a lot.
Have you kept up with Cardinal Ritter this year to be able to say that?
Yeah. They were 13-0, and they, like, every playoff game, they've scored like 60 points.
Oh, so they actually underperformed in the championship game.
Yeah, they underperformed. And check this out. This is crazy, too. Last year, they were Class 3 and went undefeated and won the state championship. Got bumped to Class 5 this year and have not lost in like 37 games. So, just like, they have 9 Division I starters, I think, on the offensive side of the ball. That's, if you look at that, in my opinion, obviously I'm not a book, not a bookie, but that all that adds up. I think Republic's got maybe a couple of Division I athletes, but if you look at 9 versus maybe a couple, it just makes sense that the betting line would have been probably Cardinal Ritter by 3 touchdowns, in a high school game based off of what they've done to every other Class 5 team that they've played. and Republic won all theirs by 1 point in every single game, the spread would have been large, but I think that in my mind, Republic covered the spread last night.
Absolutely.
Even though I don't physically see one, in my mind, Republic covered the spread. So they had an absolutely, a performance to be proud of. Nothing to hang your head about, because that team is full of incredible athletes.
Yeah. You said this about watching them in the playoff games are dropping a lot of points. Republic football obviously has not dropped a lot of points. So offensive styles are either significantly better, more talent, like you said on that Cardinal Ritter team, or offensively, are they just throwing the ball around?
Dude, I think it's both, to be honest. They had, so I think I literally, you're looking at if you're talking just 40 times, dude, you're looking at 4-9 on Republic's athletes, or 4-8 maybe. And then with Cardinal, just watching them, it looked like it was 4-4 and 4-5 athletes. That on the 40-yard dash. It just when the receiver would take off for Cardinal, they just flew by the Republic, defensive backs. They're just faster, but then also it was a contrast of styles too, because it was essentially 4 verticals and send it. I think that the Cardinal quarterback, his first 2 touchdowns was a 55 and a 65-yard pass. Just
if you look at the postseason, we're looking at the Class 5 state tournament. That's the closest game they've played since October, 34-21 or 52-39 versus SLU.
Good night,
on the 20th. Dude. So we're looking 82-0 on versus University City, 60-24 over MICDS on the 11th. Fort Zumwalt 68-14, 52-22 over Central from Cape Girardeau, and 38-25 over Republic. So that's the closest game they've had since October 20th versus SLU, which is a no-joke team.
That's insane. I was going to say, none of those teams are slouches. To do that to MICDS, too, that's not a joke of a team. Definitely not. And then if you, I know the Republic scores they won all their postseason games by 1 point. It was 28-27, 21-20. That's what they beat Webb City by last week. Yeah. Okay, so I guess not by 1 point. Helias Catholic,
well,
I think
they beat Parkview and Willard. So I mean that's just to get that. Those games are just to get in the tournament,
right?
Basically. But Parkview 42-6, Willard 35-14, and then they're just slugfests for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, big time, dude. So I'm sorry, I was thinking 1 score games. Everything has been the last 3 weeks has been 1 score games. So, they had a bit of they had a bit more of a squeak into it type of, not to mention they had emotionally, those guys have got to have been drained. We went to the game against Webb last weekend, and it was crazy, dude. They've got to be emotionally drained from these close matchups,
Yeah.
So, but in my mind, Republic, you covered the spread. Proud of you guys. That's cool. I'm stoked to have some of that. I love having some local football success around here.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily just tied to any one particular program. Obviously, our Chargers, we want them to crush it and succeed all the time. But
absolutely,
I feel like Southwest Missouri has just kind of been so basketball centric for so long that's everything that everybody cares about is the high school basketball, because we've got these big tournaments and it's cool. But for me personally, I love to see good football coming out of this area because, I'll buy into any good team from around here and get behind them. That's
good,
cool.
Yeah, we want to see good athletes. We want to see good performances, but we want to see championships
for sure. Yeah,
because I think we have a lot of good athletes. We have a lot of individual good athletes that come through Southwest Missouri. But putting a team together that runs to state like Republic did, shout out to them. Getting blown out on the 8th of September by Webb City and then coming back and beating them.
That is huge, dude. You talk about flipping the script. That's big time, dude. And it's insane too. Like, Nixa, what happened to them, dude?
Yeah, I don't know what. So they're sitting at 11-1. Their only loss, I think, was in the third round versus Rockhurst. Now, obviously, they ran into a buzzsaw at Rockhurst.
Ooh, okay, yeah. All right, so they did. They went play. Did Rockhurst end up winning it all? I'm assuming. I don't know.
Class 6. Oh,
No.
Rockhurst lost to Liberty North.
Wow. In overtime.
And they have not played. They played tonight. 7
Oh, that's right.
Christian Brothers.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. I forgot they have the even numbered classes on the Saturday and the odd numbered classes on Friday. So 1, 3, and 5 played yesterday at Missouri in Columbia, and then 2, 4, and 6 play tonight.
So here's a question for you.
Okay, what's up?
Would you want to play your state championship game on the same day that college football is playing their conference championship games?
No, because I'd want to get to watch the college football games. No, all right. So, dude, I got to be honest with you, man. Back when I played, I feel like I kind of forgot about all other levels of football a little bit. I still watched football. I'd watch Mizzou and Kansas City. When I say forgot, I guess I didn't care as much because I had my own team to care about, right? We had our own. My heart was 100% sold into our team, the Chargers, right? Yeah. And so I didn't feel like I had space, I guess, as much for maybe Mizzou or the Chiefs, or whoever the team might be. So missing out on it, I felt like all that other football was a bonus to the football that I was getting to play.
Yeah, and we also played on Saturdays too. So being a homeschool team, we played on a lot of Saturdays. So we didn't get the opportunity to wake up, watch College Game Day, and invest in watching college games.
It was something we were already used to. Yeah, so I guess move into championship. I don't know. I guess the other part of me would think, dang, dude, it's pretty cool to be playing championship football on championship Saturday too.
That's true. Absolutely. Because there's gonna be a good crowd up there at Mizzou to watch that game.
Oh, absolutely. Game. Dude, that's gonna be. I think that'll be massive. Republic had a massive attendance.
Yeah, the pictures were insane.
Yeah, they had. All right. So you remember up there at Columbia, the press box side grandstand, the lower level there below the press box. I bet that they had a third of it full, at least a third, maybe more, dude, which is an incredible.
That's been more than Mizzou's had in the last 10 years since Pinkwood retired versus like this year. I'm saying, Mizzou's had some struggle years.
They've had
to getting fans there.
They've had some scarce attendances, that's for sure. But it was like I don't know. I felt I was proud of that, dude. Because like Cardinal on the other side, dude, I could have counted on 30 hands how many people were there.
Where's Cardinal Riddle from?
St. Louis.
St. Louis. Yeah. So that's not a very far drive.
No, they didn't.
50 people show up,
and they didn't travel well at all. It was crazy, but. Yeah, I don't think it would bother me too much to be. I mean, look at us. We're sitting here recording a podcast, not watching
games.
Yeah,
here it is. Yeah, almost 3:00.
Yeah, I don't know that the Texas Oklahoma State game was going to be worth much watching anyway, because
and the Big Ten game's not going to be worth much hardly ever.
No, it's Michigan, Wisconsin,
I think it's
Iowa.
Yeah,
that's going to be
that championship was last week.
Dude, oh yeah, last week was absolutely the championship. What's the line? What's the betting line in Michigan, Iowa? I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess. All right, I'm covering my eyes. I'm not looking yet. I'm gonna guess 21. Michigan by 21.
And Michigan's favored by 21.5.
Yes, dude. Hey, you can vouch for it. I didn't see it. I had my eyes covered.
It's right here recorded, man.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Everybody can see. All right, so 21.5. I thought it might be 21. I bet that Michigan definitely hits. They cover.
I think they cover. They don't just cover, but they probably hit the total points scored over under by themselves.
Oh,
35?
35 is the over under?
And
It's way over. I'm taking that over all day long, dude. I know that like Iowa can play a little defense, but there's no chance, dude. 21.5. Consensus Michigan.
Iowa has been holding people to 12 points per game.
Right, but they haven't been playing Michigan
They
every
haven't
week.
been playing Michigan, Ohio State every week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man.
I don't know. They're not holding, like, I'm an SEC guy.
Right.
So,
I am too.
Like, being born in Tennessee, didn't live there very long, but I definitely kept up with teams like Tennessee, and then when Missouri got in. But, yeah, Iowa's, like, J.J. McCarthy, he'll score 12 probably. He'll probably walk in the end zone twice by himself.
Yeah, I would absolutely think so. I don't know. I like the line. I don't like the over or the
Do you think Iowa's going to keep the line at 21? Like, that game could easily be like 42-6. 7. Yeah, 42-6.
So I guess what I like is that the line is at least that.
Yeah.
But no, I'm with you, dude. Yeah. It's going to be – I'd take Michigan to cover all day, and I will absolutely take the over in that game as well, for sure.
Do you have a prediction yet for your top 4 for the playoff?
Obviously, Georgia.
Think Georgia beats Alabama today?
Yeah, I do, and I don't actually think that it's a real close game. Like, I don't know that Alabama's going to hang with them just, like, super close, I don't think it's going to be quite Georgia versus TCU from last year, but I don't think this is a field goal game. I think that Georgia probably beats them by a couple touchdowns, in my opinion. But then that would put Georgia, Michigan, Washington, since they beat
Oregon.
And then I guess help me out here. I'm blanking a little bit. Obviously,
so if Georgia beats Alabama, then your next option has to be if Texas wins. They got to get in.
Oh, yeah. So I think we're looking at Georgia, Michigan, Washington, Texas.
You think Georgia stays number 1?
Yeah, if they win today, there's no chance. I don't think there's any chance that they can get knocked out. Like I never agreed with Ohio State being 1 at any point this season.
Nobody's beaten Georgia yet.
Right. They are on a historic run. Don't move them from number 1 until they lose.
Yeah.
I don't care if they had a couple close games against Mizzou. All right. If they don't lose, they don't move. That's my opinion, So I didn't like that they ever got moved. I don't think that they'll probably move them.
So you don't think there's going to be any shakeup today? You don't think there's going to be...
I don't know where it would... I don't know where... I think there might be some shakeup in some conference championships that don't impact much. As far as the playoff goes, dude, I think everything's going to stay right there. What do you think?
Do 2 SEC teams get in if Bama beats Georgia?
They better. Right? They better. But who you going to leave out? Texas? So
let's say Texas beats Oklahoma State.
Texas was drubbing Oklahoma State. Quinn Ewers in the first half, that was about the time that we came in and started recording, dude. He had like 320 yards passing and 4 touchdowns in the first half. I think it was 35.
Oh, it's over. It's over now. Texas beats Oklahoma State 49-21.
Yeah, dude, that's insane. Ewers had like 320 yards and 4 touchdowns in the first half. So
yeah, Texas was up by what?
21.
3 touchdowns at half.
Yeah,
at half.
That was all right, I don't know, dude.
So here's the question, man. Let's say Jalen Milroe for Alabama goes out and just has a career day.
Right, okay.
Just a career day. He does what he hasn't been able to do all year, which is throw the ball down the field very consistently. He's been consistent, but not not that guy.
Right,
Not the guy they've had in the past. Let's say they come out and Georgia's QB just flops versus Alabama's defense.
Okay.
Because Bama's pass rush is no joke.
For sure, yeah.
So let's say he comes out, he goes off, and Bama wins in a nail-biter, like at the end of the game, on a field goal, on a final drive. Do you drop Georgia out of the top 4?
With Alabama beating them on a final drive with a field goal? No, you can't. They're still, I don't know. I guess you do. I guess you flip-flop them because at that point they have the same record. And if you go off of what have you done for me lately, Alabama's done the most for you lately. So at that point, well, I don't know about out of the top 4, though.
Oh, man.
That's a tough decision.
Can you flip-flop them? I actually saw something on social media today. If Bama beats Georgia, let's say Nick Saban coaches the heck out of that defense.
Yeah.
If Bama beats Georgia, Michigan's got to be number 1.
Yeah, they have to be.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Washington has to be number 2.
Yeah.
Bama at 3, and Georgia at 4, and Texas sits at 5.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with it because you do have to penalize. You do, like, let's say that Georgia does lose. You have to penalize Georgia for losing.
The problem is, do we really want but the possibility for an all SEC national championship?
I mean, no. Well, I guess I'm.
So let's just be honest. Does Bama beat Washington?
I don't know. Yeah, probably.
Just based on what we've seen.
Just based off
if
of
Bama beats Georgia, does Bama beat Washington?
I'm sorry. Yes, Bama absolutely beats Washington. Just based off of athletes alone.
And then we get what possibly people would consider the national championship game, which would be Michigan, Georgia.
Yeah.
At least at this point, prior to Georgia losing.
For sure.
Everybody wants to see Michigan play Georgia.
That was, I was talking to my brother. Like, my sister-in-law is from Georgia. She was at Georgette, like, went to the University of Georgia. So
nice.
They're Bulldogs. They've been having a heyday these last few years because she's a Bulldog through and through. And
they've earned it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And her, and of course, you know, my brother and my nieces and nephews. And so kind of like by default, I root for Georgia too because I've got, you know, family ties there. Obviously, I'm not rooting for them against Mizzou, but it hasn't mattered. But I was talking to my brother and, you know, while his son is standing there wearing a Georgia Bulldogs hoodie, but we were agreeing that the only good, so there's 2 potential good football games left to see all year. One of them we're going to have today. That is Georgia, Alabama. That's got potential to be a damn good game. The other one that's got the potential is Georgia, Michigan. Everything else, like this Texas, Oklahoma State game, you saw how that went. If you look at most of them, like, dude, they're not going to be great games. Everything's going to be blown out. Even playoff matchups. If it's anything outside of Georgia, Michigan, it's not a good game. Like Alabama, Washington, dude.
Or if Georgia wins, then what if we get Georgia, Texas? I don't know if that's much of a game.
I don't think that's much of a game either, dude. I truly believe that the top of the SEC, and not the SEC in general, but the top of the SEC truly is so much. It is so superior to the best of the best that everybody else has. And Michigan's good. You know, they might be able to hang, but they might. Dude, I just think
you're putting a lot on the SEC right now.
Just the top 2, just the big dogs, you know. I mean, they're studly, dude.
So who's the number 3 team in the SEC? If you just take the whole conference as a whole, who would you put? You had to put Mizzou up there, right?
It's Mizzou for sure.
All
yeah.
Right. Who's the number 3 team in the Big Ten?
Number 3 team in the Big Ten. So you got Michigan. It's Iowa.
Mizzou,
I think would
would probably drop 40 on Iowa's defense.
Absolutely, you're totally right. And I think that the Missouri defense would maybe not let Iowa score. I don't know that Iowa would score because Mizzou has got perhaps the best tandem of defensive backs of corners in college football. and they are full of, once again, defensive studs that will play on Sundays on the defensive side of the ball. I don't think Iowa scores a touchdown. I think they grab a couple field goals against Mizzou.
Yeah, where they play is probably important.
Yeah.
Like what part of the country they're playing in.
For sure.
But, Mizzou's not afraid of playing in cold climates. We've seen that before.
Yeah. Yeah. I even saw, what game was it that they were playing in the rainstorm, and their offense still looked pretty good. Like, Brady Cook was still able to, it was just like 3 or 4 weeks ago.
It's been really fun to watch. Like, if you just keep up, even if you just watch the highlights from Mizzou.
Yeah.
They throw the ball, and then this running back came out of nowhere.
Oh, my boy, dude. Schrader, baby. Schrader Nation.
He's that dude, man. He don't lead the
is.
SEC in rushing for most of the season, if not all the season. Didn't he lead the SEC in rushing?
Yeah. I think all year, dude. He has been an absolute stud. Love Schrader. This big Schrader house, dude. Big Schrader house. All right. Yep.
Schrader. Then Jaden Daniels, the QB for LSU, is number 2. He rushed for 1,134. You can't tell me that dude doesn't win the Heisman this year.
Okay. I didn't realize that he was second place in rushing. Yeah, he has to win the Heisman. Because he's like number 1 in passing.
Even with his team, he lost 3-4 games?
3, yeah. Did you see the Mizzou LSU game?
No, I did not.
Dude, heartbreaker.
Was it in Death
Mizzou.
Valley?
No, it was in Columbia. But they went to, it was so close. In the last, I want to say 4 minutes, there was like 5 touchdowns scored. Mizzou had a lead, and then they just went, in like 4 minutes, they went back and forth and back and forth, back and forth, and then, 49-39, and then they grabbed
Columbia.
Yep, and they grabbed a couple touchdowns right at the end. And actually, that game right there, that is maybe the difference between, like, Mizzou would be getting consideration. This might be the topic. It might be us talking Georgia. I know they're on the same side of the SEC, but they might be getting the consideration and the talk that Texas and Alabama are getting right now if they could have held on and won that game. Because then the only loss that they have is Georgia. And they played Georgia respectably. They were like, I don't remember what the final score was, but they were certainly respectable in that game. Actually, I think that they played Georgia just about as well as anybody has all year. And it's actually been that way for the last couple years.
Losing by.
9 points.
Yeah. In Athens.
Yeah.
In Athens.
For sure. And what's more insane, it was Mizzou Georgia score from 2022 because if you just looked at the score of the national championship game, you would say, "Oh my goodness, I bet that Georgia probably beat Mizzou by 70 points." And here, get ready for a little surprise here. Where is it? Yeah.
4 points in Columbia on October 1st.
Yep.
Of 2022.
Yep. And Mizzou led the whole game. They were up the whole time. So this is like total, this is shocker. That was. But Mizzou has played Georgia closest of like anybody the last few years, So obviously there's no question where my allegiances lie. I struggle not to get off on a tangent about Mizzou.
Well, yeah.
I'm going to.
You're going to have to at some point.
Yeah, for sure. Dang.
That's all right, though.
Yep.
I mean, it's cool to see how they've turned things around, because they were a few plays from probably being 8-5 last year instead of 6-7.
True.
Just a few plays.
Yeah.
Because, they lost in overtime to Auburn.
Yep.
And then had the one score, I think, of Florida. So in Gainesville, I think it was. And then this year they're 10-2.
10-2.
From 6-7 to 10-2. What they did is they started winning those one-score games.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. And they
How big was that 60-yard field goal versus Kansas State back in September that started the season off basically for them?
Dude, I truly think that was, if he doesn't hit that field goal or Mizzou doesn't beat Kansas State at that point, I don't know that they have the momentum and the confidence to go be 10-2. I could see them being, losing a couple more of those games, just because, the momentum. But I don't know.
I mean, they've been on a tear over the last month. I mean, you take a heartbreaker versus Georgia, right? In Athens, right? In Athens, a heartbreaker. And
then grab you a get-right game.
They smack my boys from Tennessee.
Yeah.
Right? And then they get a good one versus Florida, because you never know what you're going to get from Florida on any game.
That was
Saturday.
the game in the rain. Against Florida, yeah.
And they still dropped 33. And then Arkansas, they just... So if you take the Georgia win out, we got to go all the way back to LSU. They're
What's that?
5-1 in the last 6 weeks.
Pretty good, dude.
In the
Pretty
SEC.
Good. Yeah. And they're gonna have probably a really nice bowl game too. I hope they can keep up. I hope they can keep improving and moving in the right direction. It's gonna be tough because they're graduating a lot of dudes. They're graduating some dudes, man.
So what do you think of Drinkwitz, what he's done over the last few years he's been there?
Since
he got hired.
I really like him this year. I
feel like a lot of people doubted him last year.
I feel like I was probably one of them too. Yeah. I think he's I don't know. I've got a lot more confidence in him, I guess, after this year. And I hadn't seen a whole lot. I hadn't seen a lot that left me feeling super encouraged, whether it be recruiting or coaching wise. But this year, there's been some things that changed. Like, for one, he landed LB3, Luther Burden. And from that point, I guess that he said that they are now getting to talk to recruits that they never would have gotten to talk to before.
Yeah.
So like they are now getting 4 and 5 stars that would never have considered them before, and 5 stars that only would consider Georgia or Alabama are now talking to Mizzou. Based. So obviously he's recruiting well, and he's got, he's got, I think, let's see here, 3 5-stars in 3 years. I'm pretty certain, because Luther Burden he was like number 1 at his position overall. There were some offensive linemen that transferred in to Mizzou. I want to say that he was committed to Colorado and then decommitted from Colorado and came to Mizzou. I think he'll be here. I think he'll be a freshman next year. But yeah, I think he's improving. I think he's getting better, and I think it was a wise decision to give him a chance, even though he wasn't all that in a bag of chips his first couple of years.
Yeah, but you had to give him time.
For sure. And so I agree.
Part of it has to be his the guys, I mean, as far as the rest of his staff. Because I'm sure he brings his own people, but just because you brought him with you and you like him doesn't mean they can coach at the SEC level.
That is a good point. Yeah. And so I guess, are you going to have the spine to move off of those? Might be a really nice guy, but can't get good talent in there.
Yeah. So, I mean, 3 4-stars from the 2023 commits, no 5-stars yet.
Okay.
But I think that all comes down to the bowl game.
I agree. Yeah.
It really comes down to how you do in your bowl game. I'm just going back from Tennessee last year. Nobody expected Tennessee to just blow Clemson out in the Orange Bowl last year. As soon as they do it, like, people just start dropping like flies as far as commitments. Now, it helped having the number 1 quarterback recruit in Nico. Can't pronounce his last name, but once they beat Clemson, it definitely changed things. So if they can get a bowl game versus a Big Ten opponent
on a New Year's 6
or a Pac-12 opponent, that's not. I mean, I'd love to see Mizzou, Oregon. would love to see Mizzou, Oregon.
Ooh, dude, that might. I hope, dude. I wish you were on the committee. That would be sick. That might be what it is. That might be what it is. I bet there's a lot of people that want to see Mizzou, Oregon, because that would be. What's the line on that game? Oregon by 3.
Depends on what bowl game they get.
True. Location, where it's at. If it's it's Rose Bowl,
yeah, if they go
that's
out,
Oregon
if they go
by
out
3.
West, it's Oregon by 3.
Yeah.
If they play, if that's
in
like
Florida,
that's Atlanta or
Texas,
Tampa Bay,
yeah,
Dallas. I mean, Mizzou travels well. We've seen that over the SEC, how they end up showing up at places like, you don't expect them. You don't expect Mizzou fans to show up in Kentucky and make it a Mizzou game.
Yeah, it's black and gold instead of blue.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I guess because you always hear that home field is worth 3 points, so it could be. I don't know. I'd probably. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I don't give Mizzou their full credit on how good they really are. Is because I said, well, I'm sitting here thinking like, well, obviously Oregon's the favorite, but no. I mean, I think Mizzou's a lot better than I'm giving them credit for.
Yeah, I think definitely schedule. There's a lot of things that go into that when you're talking about a team beating another team, but being able to run the ball is the key there. And I just love the way that Mizzou runs the ball when it comes to Schrader. And
For sure.
I think he'd probably have a $120 and 2 tutties in that game.
I think so too, man. Yeah, he had 217 against Arkansas. You remember back in the day when Tony Temple went off for like 280?
Mm-hmm.
Who was that against? Might have been Arkansas also in a bowl game back when Mizzou was in the Big 12.
Yeah.
I think it was, dude. I'm almost certain because Mizzou Arkansas bowl game, Cotton Bowl, I want to say, or it might have been Independence Bowl. It was Chase Daniel, Tony.
Cotton Bowl.
Cotton Bowl, okay.
Over Arkansas, 38-7, 2008.
280.
Yeah, 281.
I need to go buy a lottery ticket. I have been on my numbers today, dude. I had the 21 spread.
Go get that Powerball right now, man.
No doubt. 280. That's insane. Yeah. So, Schrader had a whale game against Arkansas. Still, at 217 yards, was still not really close to the record.
What's the deal with Arkansas not being able to stop Mizzou running backs?
I love it. I hope they never get to, dude. I hope they never do. Bro, how long have we been at it?
Probably about 57 minutes. So probably time.
Sweet. You want to wrap it up, man?
Let's wrap it up, dude.
Sweet. Hey, this has been awesome. I cannot wait for this to become like the normal thing, man, because this is so much. It's fun. Love it, dude.
I'm glad you're having fun. Just know that when the baby gets here, maybe a few weeks before I come back.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. I get that, dude. I would honestly be like, dude, are you sure you should be here?
Yeah. Shout out to my wife, Katie, getting ready to have our second. So love you, babe.
Yeah, love you, babe. That's so exciting, dude. So stoked for you, man. Love you, babe. Another nice little. That's great, dude. Dude, this has been fun. Thanks for coming and hanging out, and we'll just crush it.
Heck yeah, man. We'll see you next time.
See ya.